Once upon a time, people used to say that if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. But if character is lost, everything is lost. And today things have changed a little bit. We kind of start thinking that if character is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. If wealth is lost, everything is lost. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, wealth is important, but health is everything. Character is everything. Our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our social health, our spiritual health, our holistic health, our holistic wellness is extremely crucial and extremely important, because how well we are in terms of our health defines and decides the experience of happiness, the experience of joy that we all have in our lives. Imagine yourself on a fantastic holiday in Maldives. And if you're there on the shores of the ocean, lying on the soft sands of the beach in Maldives, and you have some physical ailment, let's say a stomach upset, or let's say a high fever, you're not going to be able to experience happiness and joy simply because your health is not right. Imagine if your mental health is not right. Imagine if one is in a state of severe depression. Imagine if one is severely anxious, stressed. Imagine if one is feeling severely lonely, left out. Imagine if one is messed up in the mind. One could be in the best holiday location. One could be on this beautiful beach, lying down in the fantastic soft sands, looking at the beautiful aquamarine waters of the ocean, looking at the beautiful blue sky, but still not experience that joy, experience that happiness. You know why? Because the mind is not together. If our physical health is not right and not in place, we can't experience happiness. If our mental health is not in place and not right, we cannot experience happiness. If we want to experience true joy, if we want to experience true happiness, if we want to perform well in whatever it is that we are doing, we need to keep our health in place. We need to keep our physical health in place. We need to keep our mental health in place as well. But we talk a lot about physical fitness. But we sadly do not talk so much about mental fitness. Don't they say we kind of end up spending our health to gain so much wealth, and then we have to end up spending all our wealth to regain our health back again. It's so important, therefore, to pause, to prioritize, to wait a little bit. Yes, wealth is important. Yes, growth is important. Yes, success is important. Yes, achievements are important. Yes, going up the corporate ladder is important. Yes, getting up there, fulfilling your ambitions, fulfilling your aspirations, fulfilling your dreams is important. But we can do it all properly, happily, with satisfaction, if we also pause and give attention to and prioritize our mental health as we prioritize our physical health as well. And therefore, don't they say, where attention goes, energy flows. If you decide to lose your weight physically, you need to give attention to it, prioritize it. Where attention goes, energy flows. You start doing it. We want to prioritize. If you want to keep robust mental health, we need to give attention to it. And when attention goes, energy flows. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, on this World Mental Health Day, I would like to make an appeal to all of you attending this session and everybody who will probably be later watching this video. Please, please, please give great importance to your mental health as well. When it comes to our physical health, we go for a routine checkup. Sometimes a bi-monthly, a quarterly, or a half-yearly, or a yearly checkup to see if our cholesterol, our sugar, our vitamins, all the other elements and aspects of our body are functioning right. When it comes to our mental health, there's no routine checkups. Mental health के लिए कोई routine checkup नहीं, हम लोग किसके पास जाएंगे? And when I say routine checkups, it's not that we necessarily need to go to a mental health professional or a therapist to get a routine checkup done. Yes, if we are traumatized, abused, and if the things are very severe, we need that too. We can ourselves do a regular routine checkup to see if our mental health is in place. What are the aspects to check if our mental health is in place? Number one, we all feel low, guys. We all feel depressed. We always hit rock bottom at times. But if we can bounce back, if it doesn't go into a state of chronic negativity, if we can bounce back, if we can come out of that negativity, if we can come out of that depression, if we can come out of that hopelessness, if we can come out of that low phase that we are going through inside our minds, our mental health is in place. We are doing good. हम सबको लो लगने वाला है, हम सबको डिप्रेस लगने वाला है. एक ने इंसान है भाई, मशीन नहीं. We are human beings. We are not machines. And because we are human beings, we are going to feel low. You're not going to feel great all the time. You're going to feel low. You're going to feel rubbish. You're going to feel trash sometimes. It's fine. But as long as you can come back, as long as you can bounce back, the quicker you bounce back, the earlier you can come out of it, that's how well you are doing in your mental health. What is another parameter to see if my mental health is doing well? If I'm confident, if I feel confident, if I feel hope, if I feel positivity. नेगेटिव तो लगता ही है, वरी तो होता ही है, स्ट्रेस तो होता ही है, प्रेशर तो होता ही है, एग्जाम डेडलाइंस, वर्क डेडलाइंस, टारगेट्स टू मीट. Goodness me, we are humans with a machine, and one of the parts of the machine is the mind. So we're going to feel this, and that's okay. But if you're going to be constantly stressed, 24/7, all months of the year or several weeks at a time to really pay attention to see if our mental health is in place. If I'm worried, normal ना, मेरी शादी होगी क्या, वो लड़की मेरे प्रपोजल को मान जाएगी क्या, मुझे ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगा क्या, मुझे ये जॉब मिलेगा क्या, मैं एग्जाम में पास हो जाऊंगा क्या, मुझे मेरा बिजनेस अच्छा चलेगा क्या. That worries could be there. But if you're not going to be worried all the time, you're doing good in your mental health. What's another parameter to check if your mental health is in place and it's doing fine and it's going good? How are your interpersonal dealings? Yes, some of us are introverts and we may speak less. Some of us are extroverts and we may speak more. Introverts may not express themselves as much. Extroverts may be extremely expressive and all the time going around and making new friends and connecting to a lot of people and networking, and introverts might not be able to do it all that much. That's okay, that's a nature trait. But are we comfortable being with people? Or do we want to lock ourselves up? Do we feel lonely even in the midst of hundreds of people around? If I find myself lonely when I'm with my family, if I find myself lonely when I'm with my friends, if I find myself lonely when I'm with my colleagues, if I find myself lonely when I'm dealing with so many people around, I think it's time to look at our mental health, guys. बहुत जरूरी है देखना कि फिर कुछ तो seriously wrong हो सकता है. So yes, we don't have to go for a routine checkup to a mental health professional, a therapist, or a psychiatrist or a psychologist unless we have serious issues. In a general case scenario, we can do a routine checkup ourselves. डिप्रेशन होगा, नेगेटिविटी होगा, वरी होगा, थोड़ा लोगों से भी हम लोग कभी कभी डिस्कनेक्ट करते हैं अपने स्पेस के लिए. बट एज लॉन्ग एज द रिलेशनशिप्स आर रेगुलर अगेन, एज लॉन्ग एज वी कैन बाउंस बैक अगेन, absolutely fine, guys. So don't start thinking my mental health is a problem just because I feel low. If you can come back out, no problem. But if you can't, let's take that taboo away. And it's important that we consider our mental health like our physical health as well. It's important that we, like for our physical health, we go to a professional doctor, therapist, fitness professionals. It's also crucial for us, for our mental health, then to look at some expert professional help to sort out the issues that we go through in our minds. But once again, a loud shout out to our Instagram community, Annie Optimistic, Rajan Mehra, Ragini Singh, a wellness coach. Thank you for joining us, Siddharth Chavan, Sindhu Pradesh. Very, very glad that you're here. Gautam Goswami, it's unique. Prince Paul, Hello there, Triptified. I like that. Triptified. Datta, thank you, thank you. Poonam Vish, thank you for joining our Instagram community. Lovely community. Ritik, Sharan Singh, I'm so happy you guys are here. Lovely Facebook community. Arpita Ghosh, Sayyid Faizan, thank you so much for joining. Sunil Kumar, Sunil Panda, Aruna Rajaram, Apurva Barot. So happy that you're here with us this evening. Amma Chaudhary, thank you again for joining. Shobha Verma and Shilpi Rani, thank you. I'll once again call out a few names as we continue our live session for this evening. But like I said, let's start treating our mental health with as much importance as we treat our physical health as well. Shall I say not as much importance, but more importance? Because even if the body is a little ill, but the mind is sound, we can still take a lot in our stride and move on. Didn't John Milton say, mind by itself can turn heaven into hell and hell into heaven. We may be in the heavenliest situation and think it's hellish if the mind is messed up, and we may be in the hellishest situation and think that it's heaven if the mind is together with us. So I would like to share a couple of my thoughts this evening on how to maintain robust mental health. अपनी mental health को सही तरीके से कैसे बनाए रखे. And I'm going to talk on similar lines as maintaining physical health, guys. And there are 4 things that I really want to talk about. Number 1, when we're talking about our physical health, it's very, very crucial that we do not allow unhealthy people to come into our space. If you are surrounded by and in the company of unhealthy people, unhealthy habits, unhealthy influences can come onto you as well. If they are infected, they will infect you. Whilst we were going through COVID, we knew that we were staying away from positive people. Not for the first time we were staying away from positive people. Why? Because that COVID could come on to us. And like we keep a distance from people who are not healthy so that we don't catch that disease, it is very, very crucial to maintain good mental health, to draw our boundaries very clear. हमारी lines और boundaries बहुत clear होनी चाहिए. We should allow only those people who are good for our mental health within that boundary. We should allow only those people who cast a positive influence on us, create a positive aura around us, create a positive impact on our mind, our mental health, on our inspiration, on our internal spirit. We should allow those people in our space. We should allow people who are well-wishers. We should allow people who are genuinely concerned about us. We should allow people who love us. We should allow people who are genuinely concerned about our welfare. And not people who are very negative, who are jealous, who are envious, who, as some people term them, are called energy vampires. We shouldn't allow such people to enter into our space. You know why? Because they will affect our mental health. I hate branding people as toxic. I don't like to call people toxic, because whether their intention is to affect us in a negative way or their intention is not, and because of nature they do it, we don't want to call anybody toxic. But if the influence of such people on our minds is toxic, we need to keep them outside the boundary. We need to keep them at the bay. अगर किसी भी इंसान का हमारे mental health पर toxic प्रभाव पड़ता है ना, तो ऐसे इंसान को दूर रखना चाहिए. Why should we live with toxicity? Why should we live with negativity if someone's casting that influence on us? Some people are like that, intentionally or unintentionally. And they may not be so for others, but for us, if they are people like these, it's very crucial and important that we keep them at a distance. Keep safe distance. Some people ask me, but Prabhuji, Guruji, when at our workplace, sometimes such people are in our family. Sometimes such people who make our mind so toxic by the way they behave, by the way they speak, by the way their energy is, by the way their neck aura is. They just make us so toxic. Such people could be within our family. Such people could be within our work circle, our colleagues, at our workplace. Such people could be in our friend circles and social circles. What do we do then? maintain a high hello relationship. You don't need to necessarily cut off from people unless they are really, really, really completely negative and you just cannot connect, and it's required, we need to. But in most cases, we don't need to completely cut off. When do such people start making us toxic or start affecting us in toxic ways? When we take them within that boundary. Keep them at the safe distance. Keep them outside that boundary. Do the needful. काम करा लो, काम कर लो साथ में, जो भी है वो कर लो. जितना जरूरी है उतना इंटरेक्शन तो दुनिया में रखना ही पड़ता है जी. But, you have to know, when do people actually start influencing our minds? When we start spending time with them. When we start hanging out with them, when we start sharing our hearts with them, when we start speaking the intimate things of our hearts with them, when we share a lot of meals with them, that's when they start getting into our minds. As long as we don't do these things, we are good to go by doing the needful. So the first principle, guys, of keeping good mental health is stay away from those people who are bad for your mental health. Stay away from those people who affect your mind in negative ways. Stay away from those people who make your minds filled with toxicity and negativity. Do the needful, work with them, but don't get close and hang out with them. The influence on your minds will be extremely negative. Draw your boundaries clear and see who should be within the boundary, who should be just at the boundary, and who should be outside the boundary. You decide that for yourself. If you want to safeguard your mental health and if you want to keep your mental health robust and going well and healthy.